Hi, biology. Video 7, polygenic inheritance. Going to be a short one. What does the term or the prefix poly mean? Many. All right, I want you guys to write that somewhere around this term right here, okay? Poly means many. That's what you need to remember about this concept. Polygenic, many genes, all right? Most of the traits that you guys ask me about in humans are controlled by this type, okay? Polygenic. It's something that's controlled by several genes that come from your mom and several from your dad. It can be anywhere from 3 genes to hundreds of genes. That's why you're going to see such a wide variety in these traits. Examples, skin color. Humans don't just have 2 skin colors. We don't have 3 skin colors. We don't have 4 skin colors, okay? Up until now, the most I think I've given you is 4 possibilities with blood types, okay? With skin color, we have, think of it as a continuum. Think like a number line, okay? We've got the lightest of the light, the darkest of the dark, and there are hundreds of different types in between. And that is because your skin color is controlled by up to 10 different genes. That means that you get, and for each of those genes, you have a copy from mom and a copy from dad. So that's anywhere up to sometimes 20 different alleles that can be affecting that. Another one would be height. If I line all you guys up in class, which I will probably do, if I look at your height, I don't just have 2 heights. I don't have 3 heights. I don't have 4 heights. Okay, I'm probably going to end up with however many of you there are, 22, 27, 28. I'm going to end up with that many different heights. It's a continuum. Okay, we've got really short, really tall, everything in the middle. All right. Hair color is another one. Hair color, we definitely have some genes that will decide whether you're going to fall into the brown or blonde or red or black family of hair. But then beyond that, it's controlled by more genes that tell you the shade or the highlights. Okay. So think about, there's so many different kinds of brown hair. Okay. I've got brown hair, but there's light brown hair. There's really dark brown hair. There's brown with blonde highlights. There's brown that have like red highlights. Okay. Again, a continuum. Okay. All these different types of brown hair that we can have. Now, the first one, skin color. I love this picture because it takes and kind of shows you a continuum. It doesn't show you all the possible skin colors, but it shows you how we could control this by 3 genes. Now, for you, remember, it's probably controlled more like 10 genes. But over here, you guys can see 1, 2, 3 genes. 1, 2, 3 genes. And so each one of these people is controlled by 3 genes. And you can see they inherited different genes from their parents. This guy right here, lightest of the light, he inherited maybe let's call it 2 recessive genes for each one of these. 1 from mom, 1 from dad, 1 from mom, 1 from dad, 1 from mom, 1 from dad. Okay. You guys don't need to draw this whole picture down. Okay. Now this guy over here, he inherited one of these dominant, and the uppercase D in this example shows maybe a gene that would make the skin a little bit darker. So he's got 5 genes for light and 1 for dark. So his skin is a little bit darker. And it continues on, okay? This guy has 3 for dark and 3 for light. So he sort of falls into the very middle of our continuum, okay? And over here, this guy has 6 genes for dark skin. So his skin fell into the very dark category. So skin color controlled by many, many, many different alleles. And that's what creates the huge continuum of our skin colors, okay? We will talk a little bit more in evolution about why we think different parts of the world have different skin colors, and we'll also talk about how they're changing. One more example for skin color, you guys. This would show a Punnett square. Now, up until now, I've shown you guys Punnett square with 4 squares. If you did dihybrid, you did maybe one that was this big, had 16 squares. Looking at skin color, even if it's only controlled by 3 genes, that's what these little dots represent. These represent 3 genes. Even if it were only controlled by 3 genes, here's all of our different possibilities. Look at all the combinations I can get from very, very, very light to very dark. And then if I take that and put it into a graph, I get a bell curve. Okay, love the bell curve. And it shows you how prevalent different skin colors are in our population. Okay. And this would change depending on where you are in the world. And overall, if we look at skin color overall, all the people in our world, this middle of the road here, this one is changing. Okay. This one is continuously getting higher and higher and higher. Okay. So technically, you guys, in terms of biology, this brings up sort of the question of race. There is no race when it comes to biology. There is no black, white, Caucasian, Asian, Hispanic. There is no race when it comes to biology, okay? We don't look at someone and say, oh, you must have this many dominant alleles or this many recessive alleles, so you're white. That's not that. When you look at genetics, there is no definition of race. We all have the same amount of genes for skin color. It's just some of us have more light ones or more dark ones, okay? So truly, race it's a definition that's more, that's more social. Okay, it's depending on governmental shifts, how we're defining race, and there really is. You can't look at someone's genes and define their race. If you guys notice here, there's no cutoff that tells us, what race someone falls into. It just tells us, percentage of dark or light genes. I think that's kind of a cool way to look at in sort of comparing maybe social studies and science. Science, there is no race. There's just genes. All right, so those other few, you may have written down a couple ideas. You guys did not have to draw all those pictures though, but I do want you to write this right here, okay? Polygenic inheritance gives us much more variety because it's controlled by more genes. Up until now, I've maybe given you guys one gene. Every baby got one copy from mom, one copy from dad. Maybe it was complete dominance with an uppercase and lowercase. Maybe it was incomplete where they mixed together. Maybe it was codominance where they work together, but you really only had one gene, one copy from mom, one copy from dad. This one gives us that variety because it has more genes. More genes gives us more combinations. And this one right here, you guys, just another way to look at that race representation. If we controlled it by 3 genes, 1, 2, 3 genes, 6 copies total, because you get 2 copies of a gene, one from mom, one from dad. Okay, you guys can see this one might be an all recessive and this is an all dominant. And then there's a continuum here that shows us different skin colors based on how many more dominants or recessives you got. All right, another example other than skin color. Let's say that we looked at a flower color as polygenic. And I've used your reds and your whites quite often, okay? In complete dominance, I had red is dominant, white is recessive. In incomplete, I had red and white makes pink. In codominance, I had red and white makes a red and white flower. Now, if we looked at it in terms of polygenic inheritance, so you guys, you need to go ahead and write this example down. If we looked at it in terms of polygenic, all of my dominant genes would be maybe for a red flower and all the recessives would show a pure white flower. So if we had all lower cases, we'd have a white flower. All upper cases would be a red, but there's a continuum in between there too, okay? If I have mostly the white genes, but I add a red or 2, I'll get like a light pink. If I have half uppercase, half lowercase, those might mix all together to make a pink. If I have more uppercase than lowercase, I'm going to be more on the red spectrum over here. Okay, this one doesn't show all the different possible combinations, but just put that one down, you guys, and we can now compare flower color to polygenic. Okay. Summary for video 7, no percentages here. I am not going to make you guys do a Punnett square about polygenic traits. If you guys saw that one for race, that is definitely not something I want to be doing right now. The question says, why do polygenic traits have so many different possible phenotypes? Why is there that huge continuum? Okay, I want you guys to use the word allele or gene in your answer. If you can use both, that would be awesome. But I want you guys to use at least one of those when you write your answer, okay? And that is it for video 7, polygenic traits.